they'll miss you the moment you do this. Have you ever wondered how to effortlessly draw people's attention without chasing after them? In this video, we'll dive into the dark psychology secrets that explain why letting go makes you irresistible. It's time to stop pursuing and let them come to you. Let Stoicism lead the way and watch as they find themselves unable to forget you. So, how can you create powerful attraction without effort? Let's dive into the principles of Stoicism and uncover how you can become the person they never forget. Number 1. The power of stoic detachment. Let's explore the power of stoic detachment, a timeless strategy not for manipulation, but for reclaiming your peace and control. Detachment isn't about abandoning relationships or acting like you don't care. Instead, it's about setting boundaries and reclaiming your emotional space. It's about breaking the cycle of constantly reacting, of letting someone else dictate your feelings and emotions. When you stop giving them the reactions they expect, they feel the shift. It's subtle but unmistakable. They can sense the calm confidence of someone who's no longer bound by their approval. You are now reclaiming your energy, your power, and your sense of self. Redirect that energy to yourself. Pursue your interests, invest in your growth, pour that attention into your career, or pick up a new passion. The more you invest in yourself, the less you feel the need for their validation, and the more attractive you naturally become. This inner shift is what they notice. Suddenly, you're no longer orbiting around them, and that's when they start to wonder about their place in your life. An important step in this transformation is creating space. When you stop being the one to always text first, make plans, or check in, they begin to feel the void. It's not about ghosting them, but about allowing them to feel your absence, to miss your presence, attention, and validation. Imagine you're the one who always reaches out, always plans the next date, always checks in. When you decide to hold back and let them come to you, they'll start to notice your absence. And trust me, they'll wonder why. This is the essence of stoic detachment. It's not cold or heartless, but rather a balanced way of giving them the freedom to experience life without your constant presence, and creating the space for you to nurture your own growth and self-worth. Remember this quote from Marcus Aurelius: "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." By pulling back and focusing on yourself, you're not playing games or being manipulative. You're choosing to prioritize your peace and happiness over external validation. You're allowing yourself to be happy within your own life, not constantly seeking happiness from others. It will feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're invested deeply, but this discomfort is temporary. If they truly value you, they will notice your worth and will begin to see what they had when they had you. And if they don't, you've saved yourself the pain of being with someone who doesn't appreciate your value. This journey of detachment isn't about making them miss you, although that often becomes a natural outcome. It's about stepping into your power, finding your worth within yourself, and realizing that you don't need anyone's approval to feel complete. By not giving away your power to someone else, you're protecting your peace and, in turn, creating a magnetic pull. People are drawn to those who know their worth and don't chase validation. So start living with this mindset, not because you want them to miss you, but because you deserve a life where you are valued without having to beg for it. You're not just letting go, you're embracing your transformation. When you know your worth, others will too. So, if you're ready to take this step, let your declaration be heard. Drop "I know my worth" in the comments to affirm this commitment, not to them, but to yourself. This is just the beginning of your journey upward, and trust me, they'll notice. They always do. Congratulations on taking the first step to reclaim your peace and inner power. If you're ready to embrace stoic detachment and find strength in your independence, drop a comment saying, "I know my worth." This isn't just about them noticing, it's about you knowing. Stick around. This journey to self-mastery is only beginning. Number 2. The secret weapon. Become rare, become irreplaceable. When you understand the power of becoming rare, you step into a whole new dynamic. Think about it. What's always available rarely feels precious. Imagine if diamonds were as common as rocks. They wouldn't be cherished, right? It's the same with people. If you're always there, constantly available, you become something ordinary, like a pebble in their life. And that's why they overlook you, taking you for granted without even realizing it. You've likely been giving too much, your time, energy and presence, and it's created an expectation that you'll always be there, no matter what. But here's the truth. When you give freely and constantly, they come to assume it's just part of the background, a steady convenience that doesn't require any effort on their end. They don't prioritize you because they don't feel the need to. Changing this requires embracing a powerful concept: scarcity. The moment you decide to become less accessible, everything shifts. Pull back slightly, not as a tactic of manipulation, but as a way to respect your own energy and time. This isn't about ghosting or playing hard to get. It's about rebalancing a dynamic where you respect yourself enough to be selective about how, when, and with whom you share your time. Suddenly, you're no longer a certainty in their life, but rather a valued presence they might not have unlimited access to anymore. That's when they'll feel your absence, like a sudden chill in the air. It hits them hard because they took your presence for granted. Now, they're faced with the unsettling thought that you aren't always a guarantee. This reminds me of a friend who was constantly putting himself last in a relationship. He gave everything he had, showing up every time his partner called, always available, always reliable. But over time, his partner began to expect it, even took advantage of it. It wasn't until he stepped back, began spending more time on his own interests, and stopped responding immediately to every message that his partner noticed. She began to wonder where he was, what he was doing, and why he wasn't as accessible as before. That shift, though subtle, reignited her interest, because she started realizing that his presence wasn't something she could take for granted. Think about your own life. How many times have you done this, given everything and ended up feeling unseen or undervalued? Do you think they'd notice if you suddenly weren't around as much? Often the answer to this question holds the key to what you need to change. People naturally crave what they can't easily have, and this mystery is part of what makes you magnetic. Predictability may offer comfort, but it doesn't spark attraction. Attraction lives in the unknown, in the moments they don't fully understand why you aren't immediately available, or why you've stopped doing all the chasing. This little gap makes them curious, draws them in, and rekindles their interest. Most people believe that being constantly available demonstrates loyalty or love, but the reality is, it kills the spark. When they know exactly how you'll react, that thrill fades. By becoming rare, you shift this energy. You give them a reason to appreciate every moment with you, because they know they can't just have it whenever they like. And this is where you need to stay firm. Don't let your mind convince you that pulling back is selfish. Setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's essential. It lets them know that your presence is not a given, and they'll value it much more. It's a powerful truth that those who really care will make an effort. They'll notice your shift. They'll reach out. They'll feel the change and wonder what they did to cause it. And if they don't, then perhaps they were never meant to be there in the first place. Either way, you win, because those who truly value you will make the effort, and those who don't will step aside, leaving space for those who do. This is your chance to realize that you are not here to be anyone's backup plan or someone they turn to only when convenient. Affirm to yourself, "I know my worth." Say it until it feels true. You don't have to prove it to anyone else. Just feel it deep within. From now on, you are the one being valued, the one they think about and miss. They will see the change because they'll feel it, and trust me, they always notice. Number 3. Mirror their actions to reveal the truth. Imagine this. You're in a world where everyone rushes to be seen and heard, endlessly explaining, justifying, defending, or reacting to every slight. Now think about the person who doesn't join this race, the person who sits in silence with a calm, unbothered presence. This person radiates a unique strength, a quiet force that leaves others wondering and wanting. Silence, when mastered, is like a magnet. It draws people in because it speaks louder than any words ever could. And here's the real power. If you can control your reaction, if you can hold on to that silence, you reclaim your power and tilt any situation in your favor. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Imagine adopting that Stoic mindset, living it, breathing it. Silence is the ultimate expression of this mindset. It's a decision to not give your energy away needlessly. When you refuse to react to every push, every jab, you're showing that you know your worth, that you're a high-value man. Think about those times when you feel the urge to react, to clarify, or to fight back when someone disrespects you. That pull is strong, isn't it? But every time you give in to that urge, every time you react, you give away a piece of your power. What if, instead, you leaned into silence? Silence is more than just a lack of words. It's a strategy, a choice that shifts the dynamic entirely. When you choose silence, you're forcing others to sit with their own thoughts, to wrestle with the absence of your reaction. In that void, they'll reflect, question, and maybe even regret. And here's the truth. This silence unsettles them. It creates a discomfort that pulls them toward you because they want answers they're not getting. They start seeking clarity. They start chasing you because they can't stand the mystery of what's in your mind. This is where the philosophy of win stoic comes into play. When you stop reacting, you're not losing anything. You're winning by maintaining your own center. Now, let's be clear. This isn't about being cold or distant. It's about knowing when to engage and when to step back. Every time you react predictably, you lose a little ground, showing them that they can get under your skin. But when you meet their actions with calm, deliberate silence, that's when the real power shift happens. Suddenly, they're the ones left questioning, wondering what went wrong. Imagine being in the heat of a disagreement where emotions are high, and instead of defending or explaining, you choose stillness. No anger, no frustration, just a calm, unshakable silence. This act alone shows that your peace is untouchable, that you're unfazed, and that can drive people crazy. They might keep trying to drag you into their chaos, but you don't budge. That's strength. That's high-value living. It's not about talking louder, but about standing taller in your own energy, embodying the essence of the Stoic life. Here's the thing. When you stop explaining yourself, you're telling the world that you don't need anyone's approval. It's a powerful message that they'll feel, even if you never say it aloud. Silence becomes your statement, one that says, I know who I am, and I don't need you to confirm it. And that's a message they can't ignore. Remember, people are drawn to mystery. They're intrigued by what they can't understand. When you become the person who doesn't explain, who doesn't react, you become someone they have to work harder to understand and engage with. This mystery builds attraction and respect. The Stoic masters understood this power well. By letting go of the need to respond to everything, they kept their energy and presence intact. This isn't about playing games or punishing anyone. It's about reclaiming your own energy and peace, about valuing yourself enough to reserve your responses for things that matter. As Epictetus, another great Stoic, wisely advised, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Silence shows that your peace matters more than drama, that your energy is too valuable to waste on things that don't serve you. Your attention, after all, is a privilege, not something to be given freely. Imagine saying to yourself, I know my worth. You don't even need to say it out loud. Your silence will speak for you. And trust me, people notice. They always notice. So next time you're tempted to react, remember, hold your ground, embrace the Stoic mindset, and let your silence be your greatest power. If you're still here, you're embracing the silent strength of a true Stoic. Drop a comment saying, I choose my peace, to let the world know you're stepping into your power. This journey is just beginning. Stay tuned for more insights on mastering the art of self-control. Number 4. Protect your peace. Your peace is your power, your sanctuary, and guarding it fiercely is an act of self-respect. When we allow others unrestricted access to our inner world, we're often drained, frustrated, and left wondering why we feel so exhausted. The mind and heart are not open markets where anyone can stroll through. They are fortresses that deserve protection, as not everyone who enters will cherish or understand what they find. There is a wisdom in discretion, a strength in holding back until someone proves they value what you hold sacred. Letting others into your emotional space isn't a free pass to happiness or connection. Instead, it often leads to being taken for granted, as people assume that your openness is owed to them. Boundaries, however, act as reminders, quietly saying, my peace is not up for negotiation. And it's not about shutting people out. It's about letting in only those who respect the value of your calm, who understand the strength it takes to protect one's own well-being in a world that often demands we give it all away. This is not selfish. It's wisdom, and it's survival. A Stoic perspective teaches us that peace is an inner discipline, and those who radiate this calm are magnetic. People are naturally drawn to those who can stand strong in their inner sanctuary, unfazed by external noise. Such resilience speaks volumes in a chaotic world, revealing strength and attracting the kind of people who respect your worth. When you control what enters your emotional space, you send a clear message. You value your energy, and it isn't something to be given freely. This is how you gain back the power you might have unknowingly lost. Protecting your peace is about thriving, not just surviving. It's about keeping the parts of yourself that help you stay whole, even when the world pushes you to be everything for everyone else. As you begin setting boundaries, it won't always be easy. We're conditioned to say yes, to be open, to give of ourselves freely. But with each boundary you enforce, you reclaim a piece of yourself. And in that reclamation, you declare to the world and to yourself that your well-being is non-negotiable. Those who value you will recognize and respect this. Those who don't, well, they will naturally fade away. And with each person who exits, you're left with more space to nourish yourself and attract relationships that genuinely support your growth. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Mastery over your peace is where real power lies. In protecting your inner world, something transformative happens. You become magnetic, drawing in the right people while deterring those who take without giving. The peace you cultivate within serves as a filter, allowing only those who align with your values to stay. This is the essence of Stoic happiness. Stoicism today invites us to lead with our inner values, fostering calm amid chaos. Each boundary reminds you that your peace, your energy, and your inner world are priceless treasures. Those who truly care will respect this, and those who don't, they'll realize it too late. But by then, you'll be thriving, moving forward with a heart that is undisturbed and a mind that remains strong in its sanctuary. Number 5. Break their patterns. When people grow comfortable with you, they tend to overlook your presence, assuming you'll always be there in the exact ways they expect. They think they know you, how you'll react, respond, and even reach out. And over time, that comfort morphs into a kind of complacency. They stop valuing what you bring to their lives simply because they feel they've got you figured out. But here's where the power of Stoic life lessons and understanding what is Stoicism come into play. Sometimes the most profound way to make people notice you is by breaking the patterns they've come to rely on. Think about it. Patterns are everywhere, governing every kind of relationship, from the romantic to the professional. Maybe you're the one who always texts first, the one who's always available, the one who agrees to plans. People form a mental blueprint of who you are and stop questioning it. They stop appreciating you. But when you disrupt those habits, even slightly, it sends a shockwave through their assumptions. Suddenly, you're no longer the person they thought they knew, and that shift makes them sit up and pay attention. Now, breaking their patterns doesn't mean playing games or being deliberately distant. It's about subtly changing how you engage with them. If you're typically the one initiating conversations, hold back a little. Let them experience the quiet of your absence. If they're used to you being readily available, take a bit more time before you respond. Even disagreeing on something you'd usually let slide adds depth to your interactions, prompting them to rethink what they took for granted. This isn't about coldness or manipulation. It's about reminding them that you are not a fixed presence in their lives, but a dynamic one. When people have to recalibrate their view of you, they start investing energy in understanding what's changed. Suddenly, you're a mystery that draws them in, a presence they want to know rather than assume. They begin to crave what they once thought they had in the palm of their hands. It's incredible how such subtle changes create a massive impact. The people who once overlooked you are suddenly intrigued, wanting to understand what's behind the shift. That curiosity makes them more attentive, and they may even start to feel the absence of the old patterns they'd grown used to. This, in turn, makes them wonder if they still hold a place in your life, if they still matter to you. In this state of uncertainty, they are reminded of your value, and they begin to question their role. You're no longer following their script. You're writing your own, stepping back and allowing them to come forward. This unpredictability is powerful because it draws people in naturally. Mystery, after all, is magnetic. There's a lesson here for all of us. Too often we stay predictable because we fear losing others, but in reality, predictability can create indifference. So, take this lesson of Stoic life lessons to heart. Stand firm in your value. Shift the dynamics without apology or explanation. You don't have to justify why you're no longer acting out their expectations. Let them feel the subtle absence of the old you, the patterns that used to define your relationship. The ones who truly care will adapt. Those who don't may drift away, and that's okay. Either way, you'll see their true colors. Isn't it time, you asked yourself, who in your life would miss you if you weren't so predictable? By honoring your own worth and letting go of their expectations, you open a path to deeper, more genuine connections. Remember, it's not about changing for others, but about recognizing that true connection only comes when both sides actively invest. If you've made it this far, you're ready to break the mold. Drop a comment saying, "I value my mystery," to show you're committed to redefining your connections. Stick around because the journey to becoming unforgettable has just begun. Number 6. Mirror. Their actions to reveal the truth. Have you ever noticed how some people don't truly see the impact of their actions until they feel it for themselves? They might take your kindness, patience, and presence for granted, acting as if you'll always be there no matter how they treat you. This is where the power of reflection, the art of mirroring, comes in. By subtly mirroring their behavior, you show them a taste of what you've been experiencing, and you do it without saying a word. This strategy taps into a principle rooted in the Stoic mindset. Actions speak louder than words. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." In other words, show rather than tell. If they're distant, be distant too. If they're inconsistent, meet them with the same level of inconsistency, not out of spite, but to offer a clear reflection of what it feels like to be treated that way. This isn't about revenge or games. It's about honoring yourself and refusing to chase validation from those who fail to give it willingly. What happens when someone who's used to having you constantly available suddenly feels the shift? When you withdraw that unreciprocated kindness, they're forced to feel the very discomfort they may have caused you. Suddenly they're confronted with the absence of the steady presence they've grown accustomed to, the quiet consistency they took for granted. It can be a shock to the system, forcing them to reflect on how they've been showing up, or not showing up, in the relationship. And, most importantly, they may begin to realize that relationships, especially those with high-value men, are built on mutual respect, not one-sided effort. Consider Epictetus's wisdom. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. When you mirror their actions calmly, you're reacting with strength, reinforcing your boundaries without bitterness. This approach reinforces your self-worth without diminishing theirs, but it does make clear that you won't accept less than you deserve. Why is this approach so effective? When you respond rather than react, you give yourself a moment to breathe, to observe, and to act in a way that aligns with your principles. It's a reminder that your worth doesn't depend on someone else's acknowledgement, and that true confidence, the kind the Stoic mindset champions, comes from within. Instead of pleading for attention or understanding, you subtly remind them that respect, attention, and kindness are gifts, not guarantees. Reflecting someone's behavior isn't about manipulation, but about reinforcing that relationships are a two-way street. If they've offered minimal effort, they'll experience what it's like to be met with the same. If they've been absent, they'll begin to feel what it's like to be left without. This quiet yet powerful shift often compels them to consider their role in the relationship and question how their behavior affects others. Have you ever thought about how people can change their treatment of you when you stand firm in your worth? By mirroring their actions, you're placing yourself back in control, no longer relying on them for validation or explanations. You've removed yourself from an emotional chase and instead embody the patience and resilience that high-value men are known for. This is the essence of the Stoic philosophy: to stand firm in the knowledge that you're worthy of reciprocal effort and respect. This isn't about bitterness or pettiness. It's about restoring balance in your relationships. When they notice the shift, they're left to either step up or step out, and either outcome is a win for you. The people who truly value you will naturally respond by putting in the effort, while those who aren't willing to will fall away. And that's okay. As the Stoic mindset teaches us, let go of what you can't control and focus on what you can: your response, your actions, your boundaries. Isn't it empowering to realize that sometimes the most impactful statements are made in silence? You don't need to justify or defend your decision to mirror their actions. Your silence speaks volumes. They'll sense the change, feel the space you've left behind, and confront their own behavior in the process. And remember, you're not acting out of malice. You're merely reflecting what they've shown you. As Seneca wisely said, "He who is brave is free." When you stop depending on others to confirm your worth, you reclaim your freedom and power. This simple act of reflection can be a powerful teacher. Through it, you embody the values of a high-value man, a true practitioner of Win Stoic, who doesn't settle for less than he deserves and values himself enough to stand by that principle. Affirm to yourself, "I know my worth," and trust that they'll notice, because they always do. Number 7. Inspire effort. Make them earn you. In the realm of Stoic happiness and Stoicism today, knowing your worth and embracing boundaries can transform not just your relationships, but your inner peace and self-respect. Think of this approach as the path to inspiring effort from others, a journey that aligns with the Stoic notion that self-mastery begins within. To know oneself is to understand all things, as Epictetus famously observed. When it comes to relationships, this means valuing yourself enough to inspire others to invest in you. If you've been the one carrying the weight, initiating every conversation, planning every gathering, or always being the first to reach out, it's time for a shift. People naturally appreciate what they have to work for, and if you give endlessly without creating space for others to reciprocate, you can inadvertently become someone they take for granted. This isn't because they lack appreciation, it's simply human nature. But you can change this dynamic, and the path to doing so starts with setting clear, respectful boundaries that make space for others to step up. Allowing someone to earn their place in your life doesn't mean manipulating or testing them. It's about balance and self-worth. It's essential to understand that relationships are most fulfilling when the effort is mutual. Think of this as inviting others to match the energy you bring to the table, rather than doing all the heavy lifting alone. A significant aspect of Stoicism today is knowing when to pause, when to let others meet you halfway, and recognizing that pulling back doesn't make you selfish, it makes you wise. Stop always being the first to initiate. Let them reach out, let them show you they care. If they do, great. If not, that's an answer in itself. This way, the people who genuinely want to stay will come forward, and those who don't will fade away, revealing who is truly in your corner. Establishing boundaries isn't about closing yourself off. It's about valuing your energy. Imagine holding back just a bit, not giving everything all at once. Suddenly, they're the ones putting in effort, wanting to understand you, and striving to earn your time and attention. This is the power of balance in action. When you let people wonder about you, when you don't reveal everything up front, you create a sense of value and scarcity around your presence. They begin to understand the significance of your energy and time, especially when they've come to expect your unwavering support. By pulling back even a little, you invite them to step into the space you once filled completely. And when they do, they start to appreciate what you used to give freely, seeing it in a new, more meaningful light. And know this, creating space isn't selfish, it's self-care, a fundamental pillar in Stoicism today. It's about ensuring that your relationships are healthy and built on mutual respect. When others invest in you, they become emotionally tied to the relationship, naturally valuing it more deeply. They'll be there not out of convenience but out of genuine care, because they've put a part of themselves into the connection. If you ever feel uncertain about this approach, just remind yourself, I know my worth. The peace that comes from no longer needing to chase or convince others of your value is profound. Step back, hold your ground, and watch as they come to meet you, eager to be a part of your life. Those who truly value you will invest without hesitation, because they see the strength and worth within you. This is more than a relationship strategy. It's a journey of self-worth and the foundation for stoic happiness. In living by this principle, you not only enrich your own life, but also elevate the relationships you allow into your world. Number 8. Make them feel your absence. Creating space and letting someone feel your absence is one of the strongest ways to remind them of your value. In today's world, people often forget to appreciate what's right in front of them. When we're always there, always the one who reaches out first, they start to see us as part of the background, comforting but taken for granted. To shift this, consider pulling back, not as a game, but as an opportunity to focus on your own energy and let them feel what it's like to be without you. Stoic life lessons remind us of the power of stillness, of simply stepping back to allow space for others to reflect. This absence isn't about punishing anyone. It's about valuing your presence and giving others the chance to recognize it too. When you step away, they begin to notice the small things you brought to their life, the daily check-ins, the encouragement when they were down, or the little inside jokes. The silence you leave behind grows louder, prompting them to think, to wonder, to miss. Take a moment to think about how many times you've overlooked something good until it wasn't there anymore. This is human nature, a kind of blindness to things we assume will always be around. In modern relationships, this often plays out with people losing interest simply because they feel too secure in someone else's attention. Absence shakes that security, causing them to reevaluate, to miss, and ultimately to appreciate. When you stop initiating every conversation or filling every gap, it leaves them alone with their thoughts, making your absence something they can't ignore. This isn't ghosting or cutting someone off, but gently creating a pause, a deliberate retreat. By stepping back without a grand gesture or dramatic farewell, you communicate your value far more powerfully than words could. Consider this. There's an old story of a friend who always hosted get-togethers, organized the birthday celebrations, and checked in on everyone. One day they decided to focus more on themselves, leaving an empty spot in their friends' lives. At first, no one noticed, but over time, the absence was undeniable. The gatherings felt dull, the support was missing, and the group realized what they'd been taking for granted. The friend didn't pull away out of anger, but simply because they recognized their worth and needed time to nurture themselves. This absence became a powerful reminder to those friends of just how much they relied on this person's presence. The power of absence is in the self-respect it conveys. It's saying, "I know my worth." This aligns with Stoic philosophy, emphasizing a balanced life and emotional resilience, not relying on others' attention to define our happiness. When you allow others to feel your absence, it teaches them, and you, that your time, energy, and support are gifts, not to be taken lightly. It may feel uncomfortable, even risky, as you wonder if pulling back will push them away for good. But trust this process, and know that if they value you, they'll notice your absence, and they'll seek you out. If they don't, you've made room for people who truly value your presence. So the next time you feel compelled to overextend yourself, pause and ask, "Am I being valued for my worth, or am I simply available?" If you're ever unsure, step back. Let absence remind them of who you are and what you bring, because those who genuinely care will feel the difference when you're gone, if you're someone who values true presence and self-worth. Drop a comment saying, "I embrace my value," to show you're ready to let others feel your absence and recognize your worth. Stay tuned. More powerful insights are on the way. Number 9. You are the hero of your own story. You are the hero of your own story, and there is nothing more empowering than fully embracing that truth. Imagine the transformation that takes place the moment you stop waiting for others to recognize your worth, to hand you approval, or to offer you a place in their lives. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that someone else holds the key to our happiness, but giving them that power only steals the reins of your own life. The reality is, when you reclaim that power, when you understand that you are in control of your happiness, your worth, and your future, you shift into the role of the hero rather than the supporting character. As Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And in that freedom lies the strength of the Stoic mindset, a mindset that Win Stoic believes every high-value man must cultivate to live with purpose and direction. Think about it. How much energy do we waste, hoping others will notice our strengths or validate our dreams? How many times have we looked outside ourselves for reassurance or guidance when deep down we know our own worth? When you genuinely commit to living by your values and purpose, you create an undeniable magnetism, drawing people into your life not because you need them to, but because they're captivated by your strength, your resilience, and your clarity. You become someone who doesn't just talk about their ideals, but embodies them daily, pursuing goals that align with your principles. This kind of authenticity is powerful. It signals to others that you're living for you, not for their approval. And here's where the art of dark psychology subtly weaves in. A high-value man understands that people are innately attracted to confidence and purpose. When you lead with self-respect, you no longer look to others to provide it for you, and that's precisely when they start to realize what they could be missing. Instead of wondering how to win someone's approval, ask yourself a different question. What do I want my life to look like if no one were watching? Living for yourself doesn't mean abandoning relationships. It means you enter them with respect rather than need. Those who join you on your journey will do so because they see you as a person of substance, someone who knows their value and won't settle for less. People respect those who respect themselves. If you don't beg for anyone's time or affection, you create a space of mutual respect. Marcus Aurelius observed, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts, and that quality shifts dramatically when you take back control, no longer needing others to set the terms of your worth." In this way, you craft relationships that are partnerships, not dependencies. You're living by choice, not by chance, and those around you recognize it. So, remind yourself of this truth. I am the hero of my own story. Say it out loud, write it down, make it a mantra if you must. In every interaction, every choice, and every step forward, remember that you're the one steering the ship. Others may come and go, but those who truly value you will rise to your standards rather than expect you to lower them. You set the pace, you define the path, and those who can't keep up will simply fall behind. The great Roman philosopher Seneca once said, "He who is brave is free." Today, let yourself feel that freedom and the bravery that comes with embracing your story. Let others miss you, not because you played a game, but because you dared to live unapologetically on your own terms. You'll find that those who truly belong in your life will admire your strength, and they'll choose to stay, enriching your journey rather than defining it. After all, this is just the beginning, and the story you write from here is all yours. Start now. No more waiting, no more excuses. It's time to step forward, fully owning who you are, embracing stoic life lessons that empower you to take control and shape how others view you. Stop waiting and eliminate the excuses. You already have everything needed to rewrite your narrative and redefine your worth. Picture this. When you stop chasing and start valuing yourself, something powerful happens. People sense your strength in your absence. They start missing the presence that once brought warmth, and they realize what's been lost. This isn't about ignoring others, but instead about creating space to respect yourself and invite others to do the same. When you start living by your values and aligning with what Stoicism teaches, resilience, self-worth, and inner peace, you no longer need to seek validation from anyone who doesn't truly appreciate you. Let others invest in your worth rather than offering it freely. Let them earn your energy, your time, your presence. Think of it this way. If you give too much without reciprocity, are they valuing you as much as they could? Take each action as a reflection of your self-respect, a powerful way to let people rise, to meet you, or step back. So, repeat this affirmation. I know my worth. From now on, anyone who wishes to be part of your life must meet the standard you've set. This is your story, where you are the hero, and your journey begins the moment you choose to value yourself deeply. Keep building the life that reflects your worth, and remember, as you embrace what is Stoicism, your strength will speak louder than any words. The power is in your hands to live boldly, unapologetically, and fully as you were always meant to. Number 10. Embrace patience and trust the process. Patience is the companion of wisdom, Seneca once remarked, reminding us that true strength lies in our ability to wait and trust life's unfolding journey. Embracing patience is not merely a passive exercise, it's a deliberate and powerful stance that forms the bedrock of stoic happiness and self-worth in relationships. Stoicism today teaches us to prioritize our inner values over the instant validation we're often encouraged to seek. As you commit to pulling back, setting boundaries, and creating an aura of scarcity around your presence, you are cultivating something profoundly enduring. This transformation doesn't happen overnight, and it isn't meant to. Building genuine respect, both from yourself and others, requires patience and discipline, a continuous process that rewires old habits and reinforces your sense of self-respect. Each moment you choose to honor your boundaries, you are quietly reaffirming your own value, reminding others that your energy is rare and that you're not willing to give it away freely. In our fast-paced world, where instant gratification is king, choosing patience and consistency becomes an act of rebellion and self-empowerment. There may be moments when the impulse to return to old patterns of overgiving or chasing validation surfaces. After all, those habits once felt like a shortcut to approval, a quick fix to feel needed or valued. But every time you choose not to give in, every time you resist the urge to explain yourself or seek external validation, you grow stronger and more self-reliant. This is how you cultivate stoic happiness, not through fleeting moments of approval, but by understanding that true worth comes from within. Trust in the wisdom of taking the slow path. Remember that those who truly appreciate you, who recognize your value, will endure the test of time and patience alongside you. Imagine the difference this patience makes. Rather than impulsively reacting, you can observe and reflect, aligning your actions with your higher purpose and values. The people, situations, and opportunities that belong in your life will naturally gravitate toward you when you are rooted in self-respect, calm, and certainty. By embodying patience, you are not merely waiting, you are actively setting a foundation for authentic, meaningful connections. So let patience guide you as you move forward, embracing the idea that true power comes from needing no immediate results. Know that by staying steadfast in your worth, you're affirming to yourself that you are enough as you are. Comment below with a simple "I am enough" if you're ready to embrace patience and self-respect on your journey to true inner strength. Number 11. Reaffirm your boundaries and keep moving forward. Reaffirming your boundaries is not just about setting limits. It's an ongoing commitment to choosing yourself, even when it feels uncomfortable or challenging. When people test your boundaries, they may hope you'll slip into old patterns or let your guard down. But here lies a secret that Stoic life lessons have taught us. Holding firm to your boundaries isn't about shutting others out. It's about letting the right people in. Boundaries are like filters, letting in only what nourishes and respects you, and keeping out what drains or undermines your peace. Ask yourself this: how often have you felt resentment or frustration because you allowed someone to overstep their limits? Many of us experience this repeatedly because we think letting someone past our boundaries will make us more valued or accepted. But here's the truth. The respect you seek starts with the respect you show yourself. Every time you affirm a boundary, you're saying, "I value my time, my peace, and my self-worth." In modern life, boundaries are tested constantly, at work, in friendships, in relationships, even online. Let's take an example many can relate to. Imagine a colleague who constantly pushes tasks onto you, hoping you'll say yes because you're the helpful one. The first time you may go along to keep the peace, but over time resentment builds and you start feeling undervalued. This is when reaffirming your boundary becomes essential, and it might be as simple as saying, "I'm sorry, but my plate is full." It's a statement that says you respect your limits and that you're protecting your energy for the things that truly matter. Each time you hold to this, you're not just teaching others how to treat you, but also reminding yourself of your worth. Stoicism teaches us to face these moments without fear, to act with calm resilience, and as you stay true to your boundaries, something powerful happens. People begin to notice that your time and presence are valuable. Those who respect your boundaries stay, while those who don't quietly drift away, making space for connections built on mutual respect. Reaffirming boundaries isn't always easy, though. Moments of self-doubt or discomfort are normal because growth isn't always comfortable. But remember this: discomfort is often a sign that you're stepping into a stronger, more self-assured version of yourself. Stoic wisdom reminds us that inner peace and self-respect come from choosing actions that align with our principles, not from pleasing others or seeking external validation. Consider this question: what would happen if you put your well-being first? Every time you choose your peace over temporary validation, you're choosing a life rooted in dignity and self-worth. Just think of those times when you said no and how much lighter you felt afterward. That's the feeling of self-respect, of valuing yourself. So let this be your affirmation. I honor my boundaries. Embrace it fully, knowing that each boundary upheld is a step toward a life where your happiness, peace, and self-respect are non-negotiable. By staying committed to these principles, you attract relationships that nurture and respect you and release those that don't. This is what Stoicism offers us in modern life, a framework to live with strength and serenity, a guide to protect our peace in a world that often challenges it. Stand firm in your boundaries, knowing you're shaping a life filled with respect, genuine connections, and a deeper understanding of what is truly important. This is the essence of Stoic life lessons: to honor yourself in all aspects, and remember that the life you deserve starts with the boundaries you uphold. Boundaries are key to self-respect. Have you set a boundary recently that helped protect your peace? Share yes or no in the comments. Number 12. Celebrate your transformation. To truly embrace your power and inspire that sense of longing in others, you must celebrate your transformation. Think about the journey you've been on. Each moment you've reclaimed your time, each boundary you've held firm, and each act of self-respect you've chosen over seeking external approval. When you commit to these Stoic principles and truly embody a high-value mindset, your journey naturally begins to influence others to view you with greater respect and admiration. Transformation isn't just the ultimate destination or the change people see on the surface. It's about savoring each milestone, no matter how small, and recognizing that each decision made from a place of respect for yourself builds a foundation for long-lasting personal growth. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "The greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it." So celebrate even the smallest victory, because it's not easy to uphold a standard in a world that often encourages compromise on personal values. This is about affirming to yourself that you are worth every bit of respect, time, and love you offer others. When was the last time you took a moment to appreciate the person you're becoming? Each time you hold back from jumping into a reactive response or distance yourself from those who drain your energy, you're proving your worth to yourself and to the world around you. Every boundary you set strengthens your resilience. Every small act of detachment from things or people who no longer serve you renews your commitment to personal growth. These small actions compound, building a powerful presence that others can't help but notice. Remember that as you invest in yourself and build this Stoic mindset, you're creating a life where people naturally feel the urge to be around you because they sense your self-respect. Reflect on how you've changed. Perhaps you've shifted from someone who once sought approval to someone who values their time more, choosing activities and people that enrich rather than diminish. This change doesn't happen overnight, and the journey isn't linear. There will be moments of doubt, but each moment of self-respect, every time you embrace self-worth without waiting for anyone's validation, is a milestone to honor. The Stoic journey reminds us that our only control is over our own actions, thoughts, and responses. All else lies outside our grasp. So why allow anyone or anything to disrupt the peace you are so carefully cultivating? Ask yourself, who are you becoming through this transformation? How would you describe yourself now compared to a year ago? Each time you reflect, you're reaffirming your commitment to the Stoic journey of constant growth. Just as the legendary Stoic Marcus Aurelius advised, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. By embracing this mindset, you're embodying qualities that people are naturally drawn to, especially those high-value traits that many talk about yet few truly live. Think about it. Isn't it better to live a life where others respect your boundaries and see you as the main character in your own story rather than a supporting role in theirs? As you continue, celebrate these strides because every act of self-respect reinforces the fact that you are your first priority. Transformation is a process that others will notice, even if they don't say it aloud. Sometimes it's the quiet confidence of valuing yourself that makes others realize your worth. They'll miss you, but it won't be because of any outward neediness on your part. It will be because your inner strength resonates with a calm assurance that high-value individuals admire. Affirm it now. I celebrate my growth, knowing I am becoming who I am meant to be. Let each small win serve as a reminder that you are building a life where respect, value, and meaningful connections are the standard, not the exception. In this journey, every step forward is like a ripple that influences others. When people see you prioritizing yourself, respecting your own time, and committing to your growth, it sets a powerful example. True transformation draws others toward you, and not in a superficial way. It's a deep admiration for the self-assured person you're becoming. You see, by upholding this Stoic mindset and honoring your own progress, you're reinforcing that you're here to stay as a strong, resilient force in the world. This journey is a win-win, as you're not only growing stronger, but showing others what it means to live with purpose and conviction. Now, step fully into your power. The journey of reclaiming your worth and detaching from the need for external validation is a profound transformation. You are not merely reacting to life, you're creating it. Every time you set a boundary, let someone feel your absence or reaffirm your self-worth. You're building a life of dignity and strength. Let this be your final affirmation. I am worthy, I am whole, and I am in control. You're no longer waiting for others to see your value. You know it, and you live it. From this moment on, the relationships you cultivate will be those that respect and honor who you truly are. So, keep moving forward. Trust in your strength, embrace your power, and know that this journey of self-worth is one that only leads upward. This is your story. You are the hero. And trust me, they'll notice. They always do. Number 13. Master the art of letting go. Letting go is a profound act of liberation that transcends merely moving on. It's about lifting the weight of what no longer aligns with your life's direction, people, expectations, or circumstances. Imagine having the courage to free yourself from what burdens you, understanding that this act isn't weakness, but strength. As Seneca, the great Stoic philosopher, once said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." In embracing this mindset, we release our grip on things that may be comfortable, but ultimately keep us stagnant. Stoic happiness isn't tied to external outcomes or others' approval. Instead, it arises from within, from a clear mind unburdened by excessive attachment. When we cling to what no longer serves us, we trap ourselves in a cycle of expectation and disappointment, which prevents us from embracing new opportunities that resonate with our growth. By letting go, we make space for inner peace and possibilities beyond what we might have imagined. To live according to Stoicism today, we must focus on what is within our control and relinquish our fixation on controlling everything else. It means understanding that outcomes, people's opinions, or the validation we seek from others are outside our sphere of influence. Real power, then, is in our ability to choose detachment over obsession and peace over chaos. When we release the urge to control or manipulate situations, we experience a level of freedom that is rare and deeply fulfilling, creating room for growth, contentment, and clarity. The practice of letting go enables us to rise above our old patterns, giving us the resilience to face new challenges with a steady heart. As you walk this path, affirm to yourself, "I let go of what no longer serves me." This isn't giving up, it's clearing the path for what truly belongs in your life. Embrace this Stoic wisdom as a guiding light for finding contentment and purpose, and witness how it transforms your daily experience, one mindful release at a time. Comment below. Letting go clears the path for growth. This is a simple way to affirm the strength in moving forward and embracing new possibilities. Number 14. Invest in self-discovery and growth. Investing in your own self-discovery and personal growth is one of the most transformative journeys you'll ever take, and it's a journey that holds the essence of true power. Imagine for a moment knowing yourself so well that no external validation could shake your core. That's the foundation of Stoic life lessons, rooted deeply in the Stoic philosophy of resilience and self-mastery. What is Stoicism if not the art of understanding your own strengths, weaknesses, values, and the intricate passions that make you who you are? This isn't about vanity or seeking approval. It's about peeling back the layers and connecting with your authentic self so that in the noise and chaos of life, you remain grounded in who you truly are. Think about it. When you genuinely know yourself, your confidence becomes unshakable. You move through life with a sense of purpose, and others can't help but notice the quiet strength and magnetic energy that radiates from within you. In our fast-paced, validation-driven world, taking time for self-discovery is rare, yet incredibly valuable. Every small act of self-investment builds a sense of inner wealth that's irreplaceable. Perhaps this looks like picking up a new skill or spending time reflecting on what you truly value. Or maybe it means facing your fears by stepping out of your comfort zone, signing up for that class you've been avoiding, or speaking up in situations where you'd typically stay silent. These moments, however small, accumulate, and soon enough you find yourself less affected by the opinions and judgments of others. By focusing on your growth, you become more secure in your decisions, clearer on your priorities, and, quite frankly, harder to sway. People will sense that you are someone who doesn't need external validation to feel whole. You're at peace with yourself, and that is irresistibly attractive. Consider this. Imagine you're in a social setting, maybe a party or a networking event. The person who draws people in is rarely the one seeking approval, but the one who's fully comfortable being themselves. This person likely invested time in understanding their values and interests, and carries a quiet confidence, making others feel at ease and intrigued. Self-discovery does that for you. It's the subtle glow of knowing and respecting yourself that makes others respect and want to know you too. But here's the real power move. When you're in sync with who you are, you attract people who genuinely appreciate you for your true self. And that means you're no longer chasing relationships, friendships, or even opportunities. Instead, they start to find their way to you naturally. Now, think about this. How well do you really know yourself? Do you understand your values, your passions, your weaknesses? or do you rely on the opinions of others to define you? The more you can answer these questions, the stronger your sense of self will become. Every step towards self-discovery is a step toward resilience, and every small investment in your growth is a declaration that you are worth it. So the next time you find yourself looking for approval or validation from others, remember this Stoic life lesson. The real validation is the one that comes from within, built on a foundation of self-awareness and continuous growth. Embrace this journey with dedication and curiosity, and you'll find that the only opinion that matters is the one you hold of yourself. This kind of strength doesn't just draw people in, it inspires and challenges them to embark on their own paths of self-discovery, reminding us all that true power lies in knowing and growing into our fullest selves. The final step: commit to self-worth every day. In a world where people often seek validation from others, there is an unspoken power in quietly cultivating your own self-worth, a power that forms the core of what the Stoics believed as essential to a life well lived. This final step, then, is a daily commitment to your value, not for recognition, but for a peace that radiates from within. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts," and in this, the journey of self-worth becomes the path to Stoic happiness. Each day, remind yourself that valuing your worth is about consistency, a practice as vital as breathing, nourishing your inner strength, and refining your understanding of who you are in this moment and who you aspire to be. The more you commit to respecting your boundaries, honoring your peace, and embracing your truth, the more effortlessly the right people, opportunities, and relationships will be drawn to you. There is profound wisdom in Stoicism today, wisdom that teaches us the immense power in refraining from chasing validation from others, instead becoming the source of your own acceptance. With each decision and affirmation that celebrates your worth, you pave a road of quiet confidence, grounded in a strong foundation that cannot be easily shaken by the opinions of others. To embody this, affirm, "I know my worth, and I live it every day," and feel the shift within. The Stoics remind us that self-worth is a practice, not an endpoint. It's the quiet strength in choosing actions that honor you, whether it's saying no when something doesn't serve you, or embracing solitude to fortify your own peace. This journey does not demand immediate transformation. It asks only for consistency. As you set boundaries and nurture a life filled with dignity and respect, remember, too, that it's natural for people to notice this shift. They'll be drawn to the unwavering sense of self-respect you radiate, an energy that cannot be overlooked, one that naturally commands respect and admiration. Every time you choose actions that align with your values, you are cultivating an inner resilience that speaks louder than words. It is in this dedication to self-worth that you become the hero of your own story, creating a life that reflects your true value. In today's fast-paced world, it is easy to lose ourselves in the noise, but those who stand grounded in their worth are like beacons, unmoved by the tide of external validation. This is Stoic happiness, finding peace and fulfillment within instead of seeking it from the outside. Trust that journey and know that others will notice the quiet power you possess. The life you deserve is not one you need to chase. Rather, it is one that unfolds naturally when you remain true to who you are, honoring your worth each day, one choice at a time. You see, the power of detachment isn't about hurting someone else. It's about reclaiming your own worth. Remember, you are the main character in your own story, and you don't need anyone to validate that value. Stop chasing and start honoring yourself. From this moment on, you'll attract those who appreciate you for who you truly are, without the need to impress. If you're with me, hit the like button, share, and drop "I know my worth" in the comments as a declaration to the world and to yourself that you're ready for change. This is only the beginning. Keep moving forward, standing tall, and living boldly, fully, and unapologetically. Remember, they'll notice. They always do.